more about Pastor Shaffer, beside the fact that we thought he was good, godly humor, and we're going to have a good time with it. He is the offspring of Alvin and Ruth Shaffer. He's a God's Missionary Church minister since 1984, pastor and husband to Denise since 1985, and we're glad to have her here with us tonight as well. He has a son, Solomon. Did I say something wrong? No. It's been a long day, so probably, anyway, okay. No, I was like, if you're joking with me right now, I'm probably not going to get it, okay. A father to son Solomon, who was born in 1986, and daughter Susanna, who was born in 1988. Many of us know them as well. Father-in-law to Joanne since 2007, a grandfather to Reagan since 2009, Lincoln in 2011, and Remington since 2014. So he's got the whole grandpa thing that some of us can really know. That's a very cool thing. He's been a pastor at Shiloh, God's Missionary Church in York, PA for the past 18 years. Sometimes he takes out the trash. Sometimes he can be a nice guy. And tonight he's supposed to be funny. And that was his words. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Pastor Nathan Shaffer.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I feel like a dandelion among a garden of roses. And I actually sense in this room a chemical imbalance. A serious chemical imbalance that's affecting me already. And I hope I get through this. And I hope we don't...
Wait, you might need a paper bag.
It's going to take forever to get through this. Oh, I feel like a Tonka truck parked in front of a dollhouse. Stuck somewhere between the land of Hobby Lobby and a bench in the mall. I got the call from Linda. Oh my, it's a long time ago. Now my hands are feeling funny now. Does that come with that condition? Hey. This is going to be a long night. She called me up, she said, we want you to speak at the Women of Worth, and I was like, well, I'm not sure, but okay, I will. And then I text my son, and my son, I called him, he said, Dad, you're kidding, of course, aren't you? I said, no, I agreed to do it. He said, Dad, that's not good. That's not a good thing. He said, that's a problem. He said, our family, our reputation. He's probably up at Alexandria, curled up in the bed in the fetal position, waiting to hear reports from this to see if I made it through it. Oh my. But listen, he was concerned about me saying something inappropriate. Hey, I've been saying things that were inappropriate for many years. Matter of fact, I was with my mom years ago as a little kid in the Shamokin Church, God's Missionary Church. They had a rather large preacher as the minister there. And kids, you know why the kids have trouble in life with being happy and so on, especially at church? Do you realize how tall little children are? They're about this tall, little guys. And when they're in a crowd, you see where they're at. You see what their view is. It's not all things bright and beautiful. I went by that preacher in the crowd, I looked up at him, and I just blurted out what I saw. I said, hey, you big tank. He looked at me, then he looked up at my mother, and he said, did your mother tell you to say that? That was bad. So, and many times, I'm up leading the singing, I'm trying to be a blessing, try to encourage my people. And you know how you say, let's sing another verse of that song? I said, let's sing another curse of that song. You don't do that in church. And I was praying one time. I mean, really trying to pray. You know, the scripture says, in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And that's a good verse. But I didn't say reap. I said, in due season we shall rape if we faint not. And that's not good. That's not even Bible. That's actually criminal. That's not in church. We don't do that in church. Now, I know a lot of women of worth in my life. I have a very special mother, and I love her dearly. She's a precious woman, and she's from the Hetrick line. Some of the kinfolk are here tonight. Sometimes, oh yeah, one of my kin was a star performer last night. What a woman. It runs in our family. But I promise you, I'm not doing act 2. I want to keep my credentials. I'm probably on the verge of well, never mind. Oh my. Sometimes I sit on my mother's lap. Very carefully, of course. My mother's a gracious woman. Growing up, some of the nice things that happened to us. I remember one day she was cooking for us, and she liked to make chop suey, and she made this rice dish, and I, you know how kids look at food. You know how your kids look at what you food. Sometimes they turn up their nose. It's not a good time sometimes at mealtime. Anyhow, I said, Mom, there's bugs in this rice. She said, no, there's not bugs, it's the seasoning. She said, you know, pepper, oregano. I said, Mom, there's bugs in it. I had to convince her. And finally I said, Mom, seasoning doesn't have legs on it. And there were bugs in it. There was bugs in the rice. Another fond memory of my mother was, we were in church one night, and I was feeling very uncomfortable. Now, we always had to either sit with Mom in her seat, or the seat in front of her, or the seat behind her. But as we went longer in the service, I was very uncomfortable. And I was itching. And I was very uncomfortable in I don't know how to say this, in a very unseen realm. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, something's wrong. There's something wrong with me. It's horrible. I couldn't sit still. It was very uncomfortable. Come to tell me later, she realized what had happened. She had washed my dress pants with the fiberglass back curtains. I love you, Mother. That's tough. That's not good. That's just not a good thing. Then I have a sister, maybe you don't know that, but she's with Jesus. She's an angel with Jesus, and that's a good thing. And I don't know if she can see me down here tonight, but I love her too, Joanna. Then I have a beautiful daughter that teaches out in Ottawa, Kansas, the little house on the edge of the prairie. She wondered why she can't find a man. I said, Susanna, I know, the problem is I have set the bar so high that by any comparison, it gets tough. She's looking for a man to drive her covered wagon or to drive her buggy. And then I have a daughter-in-law. Now my daughter-in-law, that's the story tonight. It's one of the stories, and I love her. But she was just, when she first got married to Solomon, she came to our house, and you know, when you get a daughter-in-law, there's a lot of adaptation that you do. You have to learn to be harmonious and keep the family friction at a minimal. I don't know about you, but sometimes that's a point of tension in families. And we had our moments, but this night she came into my office and she says, Papa Bear, I want to play a game with you. And I needed to leave to go to Target to get a prescription and so on. And I said, I don't really want to play a game. She said, no, I want to. I thought, well, this is nice. It's my daughter-in-law. I want family unity, and I want my son to like me. And you know, she's going to mother my grandchildren, and I'd like to be in on that. You know, not in on that, but. I mean, have grandchildren. You have a good relationship there. Number one, I messed up. There's no way. I shouldn't have done this. She said, I want to play this game with you, and she she got paper and she did circles, and then she had these coins, and she said, you come out to the table now, I'm ready for you. And we took these coins and I rolled them off of my head, off my forehead, and onto this paper. And I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But you know, it's your daughter-in-law, and you do stupid things in families just to get along. And everything was good. I said, listen, she said, keep doing it. I kept doing it. I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm leaving. I go down to the Target store after this game. I go to the pharmacy, and I noticed that as I'm in the store that I sort of had a feeling like, you know, I must be an amazing middle-aged man. Everybody's sort of attracted to me. Everybody that comes up young or old, no matter what size. I mean, the gal at the pharmacy, she just like, wow, you're amazing. She smiled the whole time. I thought, I am amazing. Then I go from there, I go to the service desk. I had an issue at the service desk, so I go to the service desk. And that particular girl found me charming too as well. I get this sort of feeling through the store. I said, I got it. I mean, there's not many days of middle-aged man got it, but I had it that day. Until I walked back by the men's clearance and walked past the mirror. Then I knew I ain't got it. It wasn't good. She had taken pencil, and did all those coins, and in the meantime, I sweat, so I smeared it, so I had a cloud and lightning all down over my face. I looked in the mirror and said, oh, Joanne. That's all right. That's all right the other Christmas when I got her a thigh master for Christmas. Yeah, she enjoyed that too. Then she got me this special gift. My daughter-in-law loves me. Picked out especially for me. That's like my son. He told his sister, when he was 4 and his sister was 2, he said, if you don't quit picking your nose, your brain's going to fall out. So she got me this gift, and she got me a wig, so I thought I'd just wear it just for a moment tonight. Because hair is everything. And then if you want the highlighted versions of it, you go this realm, you do this realm, but it's all in a way. But I'm not supposed to be a clown, I'm supposed to be a comedian, so here we go. And then I have my true woman of worth here tonight. I have my wife here of 30 years. She's raised 2 children and a husband. I'll tell you an amazing thing about her. She was in desperation years ago as a single woman. She cried out one time at her house. Her dad told me this. I didn't know this till just recently. I thought it's powerful. She cried out with a consternation, with the signs and sounds of deliverance. I want a man! You got one, baby. You got 2 for the price of 1, 3 for the price of 1, 4 for the price of 1, 4 for $1. You got it. And you know what? To top it all off, she tells me today, she said, well, I wanted a man, but she said, I was tired of the immature boys. Good luck with that one. Oh, my. One time we were having this discussion in our house. I read in the Bible where Sarah called Abraham Lord, and that impressed me. And some of you, I got some eyes there. Don't tell our husbands that. And I thought, well, that's amazing. I could just imagine, could feel the adulation and the honor and just the wow, I am here sort of thing. So I told her, I said, Sarah called Abraham Lord. And she's not really great at coming back at me. She's very meek and quiet and humble. She said, Sarah may have called Abraham Lord, but I call you jerk. Oh, she did that. Yeah, and he is charming. Your hubby is charming. Your friend's charming. There he is. He looked good that day he got married. But now he's on the recliner. Got his mouth hanging open a little bit. Little drool coming down over, maybe into his beard, if he got one. I mean, that's totally romantic. That's what does it for women. I mean, the drool coming out of the corner of the mouth. He's charming. Or he's in there eating in front of the computer. I mean, it didn't bother you before. He likes the big spoon. I was going that one day in our house. Men are into this, you know. I don't know. He told me, oh, I said, what are you doing in there? But you love him. You love him. He's a good man. You love him. Oh my. One lady said, she said her husband added some magic when she turned 50. He gave her something magical added some magic to their marriage. She said he just disappeared. I get to thinking about John the Baptist. I don't know if John the Baptist was married. I don't think he was. But I think if John the Baptist married somebody, I think if John the Baptist married somebody, I think her name was Anna. Anna Baptist, right? Of course. And you remember when can you imagine John comes home? He goes to kiss Anna. And she says, oh, John, your breath smells like locusts again. You know, isn't it amazing how your husband or your friend or keep it all, whatever's supposed to be, whatever's legal. When he takes out the trash, well, I mean, in the Christian realm, or in the holiness realm, our realm, you know what I'm talking about. He takes out the trash. Do you ever notice that when a man takes out the trash, when we come back in, it's like we've cleaned the whole house. We have that assurance that we're powerful. We have done something amazing. And then we get ideas. We're like, hey, maybe you want to do something? You want to? And I'm not talking about prayer and fasting and Bible study. And sometimes I find my issue with my wife in our relationship after all these years, it's not what I say, it's how I say it. I mean, I can come home with the flower. The flower is nice. The flower is wonderful. But then I say it in the wrong way. Oh, that just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't do it. Oh my, that sounds worse. And then his ego takes over and he goes, that does it. That does it. That ruins everything. You know, here's the thing, it's interesting. Kids grow up and it's interesting. You think you'll never get through the years when the kids are small. And then they go up and you have the empty nest. Now, I think the empty nest is a good time to stir things up, make the feathers fly, make it exciting. One of the popular God's missionary preachers who used to pastor at Lebanon until recently told me one time, he said, you know one of the most exciting things about being a grandpa is? I said, I don't know. I was waiting for this great word of wisdom, something deep and spiritual. And he told me, he said, you get to sleep with grandma. I thank Barry Arnold for that. Your adult children, they call home and they wonder what's going on. My daughter, she calls the home phone and we don't answer. She calls the cell phone and now my wife has a phone and she's all, what's going on? What are you up to? Well, maybe I don't want to say what I'm up to. And same way too, you know, as you get older, you spend a lot more time in the bathroom. So people are trying to call you. And you know, it's like, please, the church, they need you. Listen, it can wait. Can I call them back? Give me a break. You know, I noticed for a lot of women, the bathroom is a haven. It's a haven of rest. And you know, as you get older, you have hearing issues. Some of you don't even have to be older. Huh? What did you say? I'm in my office and it just dawns on me that we need Q-tips. Well, now, the smart thing to do is to make a little note, post a note, leave it on her desk, or find her and tell her, hey, next time you're at Walmart, pick up Q-tips. But no. What does the man do? Honey, get some Q-tips. Next time you're done, get some Q-tips, the good kind, not the kind that break off in my ear. I hate that when them wooden ones break off my ear. It's like a bird perch or something. And you're back and forth. She said, honey, and then she'll so. I said, did you get the Q-tips? She said, you didn't. I didn't think we needed them. And you know, a lot of this stuff happens is in relationships. But you know, you just have to forgive and go on. And you can easily get an attitude. I have a lady in my church. She said when her daughter told me this story that they were married the day before the days of cell phones and all that, and they were out in the wintertime and they were driving on an untreated road, unmaintained road, and of course he had his truck and four-wheel drive and all that. He's a man and we're going to get through it and we're going to do this, and he got stuck and they ended up having to spend the night there in the truck. Now, when you're in a situation like that, you look for any food in your truck or in your pocketbook to see what you're going to have to sustain yourself to dawn's early light. She said, I looked through everything, we come up with 2 Tums. Now, you think if she was a good, nice woman, she'd have said, 1 Tum for you, honey, and 1 Tum for me. She said, I looked at him and said, you got us into this mess? Popped them both in and ate them. Hey, as you get older and different things in your life, you have a lot of, you get a weird sense of humor. I work for this lady sometimes. She has a sign in her house. Every time I see it, I laugh. She says, my life has never been the same since that house fell on my sister. What a relationship. And then I visited all these nursing homes, and I'll spare you a lot of things. I had a hard time finding the proper material for tonight because it's a very tough job. But anyhow, I eavesdrop when I'm in the nursing home because I'm in there a lot going to see people, and I went past this room. They saying, hey, they took her electric wheelchair away. They said, well, why? Well, since she ran it into the bathroom and crashed the toilet, caused the flood, and it was, you know, all that. I mean, and I remember one of the ladies from the Lebanon church, she's not here tonight that I can see, but she got mixed up one time with the bathroom situation, and she went in a particular room, and she got the wrong one, and she wondered why all those water fountains were in a low. All so low in that room. She said, I'm not in the right place. Years ago, I left the nursing home service. Years ago, I left the nursing home service, and we have an AIM store in our town where I used to live, and I've shopped there for many years. I lived up there almost 12 years. So I know where the facilities are, I know where the restrooms are, I know all about the place. And so we went into the store, and so I knew they had remodeled the store, but I didn't think anything of it. So I went buzzing through the store. I'm on a mission. Things need to be taken care of. I go in the store, make a right, go down this hall, and just go right into the restroom. And just as I come in, I had a second thought. I thought, that's funny, on this remodel, they took some of the other things out. So I thought, well, that's fine, the ADA, you know, the handicap accessible and all that. I understand all that. Hey, men know everything. We have a solution for everything. I proceeded to go in there, and as I was there, I thought, oh no. I could see this foot from this other side, and it wasn't the kind of feet that belong on a man. It wasn't the kind of shoe. And at that particular moment, I had a severe panic attack. I thought, I am a holiness preacher in an AIM store, in the women's restroom, in a stall, next to a real live woman. And I'm in trouble. I don't know if that was before the song, Jesus Take the Wheel. I was in trouble. And I panicked. I literally panicked. I just lost all. I just burst the door open, went through, ran out. My wife saw me running through the store. She said, I said, tell you later, tell you later, tell you later. Ran out in the car, got in the car, scrooched down on the front seat, put the hat down over my eyes, just waited there in the dark till she found me. You just don't do that sort of thing. That's my unlucky days. I have unlucky stuff like that happens to me on a regular basis. And I could tell you more, but I can't tell you more because of, well, it's the way it is. Regularly. And I should think more. I mean, how many of you like Chinese food? How many like Chinese restaurants? I love fortune cookies. I think they're great. Some people think they're horrible. My wife doesn't think they taste that great. But one day I had a fortune cookie in it. I opened it up and it said, "Good fortune is coming to you." And I was so happy. You know, if that's coming to me, I want to open another one. I opened the second one. It said, "Good news is coming your way. It will be here any day." I was getting more excited. So why not open a third one? And so I opened the third one that said, "Forget all that wishful thinking and be practical." I can't do it. Now I'm going to tell you something about my daughter-in-law. Thank God my son got married. It gives me lots of stories. There's some stories we just keep in the family, I assure you. And if you're offended, I don't mean to offend you. And please, I had to, this was very hard to come up with this, and I've had second thoughts, and I'm still having second thoughts as I do. Yes, very many second thoughts. But my daughter-in-law, she's a very charming lady, very charming, very winsome, and very nice. But it was an unlucky day for my daughter-in-law when she strolled through the Ross's store. Nothing wrong with that. Ross's is a nice store. I find stuff there too. Very nice store. You get good stuff cheaper. No, that's at Ollie's. After a period of time, she realized that something was hanging on the back of her. She reached around. One of the baby's bibs with Velcro was attached to her posterior. And it had these beautiful words on it. "It's hard to be this cute." You know, I don't believe in karma. We don't believe in karma. But I want to tell you something. I think that's beautiful. That makes my little smudges look good. That makes my smudges look innocent. Her with her bib. And she framed it properly too. But anyhow, oh my. I was over at Sight and Sound. How many of you have ever been to Sight and Sound? The only time I've gone there was somebody paid my way, and I was in Sight and Sound watching Jonah, and they had the intermission. And that was a very nice program, and I was fascinated by the entrails of the fish and all that. That was just exciting stuff. You know, I'm still a kid, still a guy, still a boy, very much a boy, even though I'm supposed to be a man and so on. But it was amazing. You come back from intermission, we're sitting there, and the lady in front of me, of all places, I have never seen this done anywhere. Never anywhere I've been. This lady at Sight and Sound opened up a bagged lunch. That was fine. But she opened up, and I have a very sensitive nose, a very sensitive nose. She opened up the bagged lunch to a very pungent tuna sandwich. You want to make the Sight and Sound Jonah experience more intense. Have somebody eating a tuna sandwich right in the chair in front of you. It's the same day that one of the donkeys did their business on the stage in a very graphic way. Why does it always happen to me? I could have been anywhere. Of all those people in that place, right me. This is how it happens at the hospital. This is how it happens at the parking garage. This is how it happens everywhere to me. Wherever I am, things happen even if I don't want them to happen. I hope she enjoyed her sandwich. Then I was in the memory unit of Barley Home, Autumn House, actually. Actually, it was years ago, and I was visiting Linda's mother, and we were having a great visit. We were on the porch, and then Phyllis, Mrs. Sister Martin, and I, we were just having a wonderful visit. Just a nice. She had a great sense of humor, even up to her senior years, and just a beautiful person all around. She was my teacher in school years ago and was not always pleased with me, so I sort of was obligated to be nice to her as she got older, because I probably did things to her, wasn't very kind at moments and things like that. But anyhow, while she was there, this other lady who had an early onset condition, a rather large, younger woman with that condition, come up and stood right in front of me. And actually moved in pretty close. And I know in those places, I do a lot of this kind of visiting. I know not to be, I didn't say, please move or excuse me. I just sat there. But I wasn't ready for what came next. She started to lean forward. I guess it's okay. And she was particularly attracted to my forehead. She leaned down and she proceeded with much precision, fish lip kisses. She kissed, not just one, she kissed my forehead once. And it must have been happy for her. Because she did it again and again and again and again. I mean, it was quite a succession. I felt dibbled on. I don't understand that. Never did that for her. I mean, of all things, she's like, oh, baby, let me kiss you for your bald head. Oh, my, it just happens to me. Oh, my. And then, honey, there's that, and there's that honey-do list. Second blunder there. I realize this is one of the solutions for marriage. Duct tape. This can keep a lot of things together. I have an Uncle Harvey. He's amazing. He'd split the breeches of his pants. He'd tape them up with duct tape. If the hem come out, he'd tape it on. If the trim comes off the door, he would tape it. The plumbing leaked, he would tape it. And they have all kinds and all flavors. And this is just a sampling, and I have a lot. What? Flavors? Well, that's all right. Yeah, if you chew on it, it has flavor. So I'm looking forward to, some weddings, they do rings. Other weddings, they do the Bible. And it's all, the Bible stuff is very nice and so on. But I actually think this should be included in every wedding. Really. With this duct tape, ivy way. Just stick together. Can you imagine? I mean, maybe it worked good in church, like, bind us together. It just help a lot of things. Oh my, that's how you fix things. Now, a lot of people say, a lot of women especially say, well, I can't get my husband interested in doing things around the house. He always wants to go hunting. He always wants to go fishing. He's always working on that old car. Or he has this crazy hobby. I brought something along that I think may help. I think it's a good thing that will maybe help your relationship, help your marriage. If you could combine things. I think if you can combine business and pleasure, no pun intended. Instead of becoming frustrated, don't leave him. Love him. Take the plunge. I mean, you're in this thing together. It's for better or for worse. Oh my, man, am I nervous. This is the most nervous I've been for any presentation I've ever given anyway. And I know why. I feel that chemical imbalance, and some of you are looking at me very funny. Oh, where am I? Am I on my last page? Oh, we better go to church. Stranger things happen at church, especially at my church. One day at church, Ken and Gladys and Kenny were leaving church. And Dr. Harold, which was Ken, he has Parkinson's, so he's not really that stable. And so as they left the church that morning or whatever it was, we have a little step there at the door, and as she stepped out, he fell. Not to be hurt, but he fell. Well, his wife, a gracious woman that loves him, she reached for him. And so he fell, and then she reached for him, and she fell on top of him. And the guy behind them, he was concerned about them, so he reached for both of them. And he fell on top of them. There was 3 3 of them laying out there on my church porch. Can you imagine people driving by saying, what kind of church is there? What do they do in there? What happened? What are they doing in a place like that? You just come out, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. How do you do that? I was glad I didn't help them. I'd have killed them. They'd have been carrying, we could have been right about national news. Paramedics, paralegals, somebody because the corner man had been bad news. Oh my. Well, that one lady, the one man that fell, his dear lady, his dear pear-shaped lady, Sister Jerry, she's with Jesus now, that's why I can talk about her. I love Sister Jerry. You know what? She was a good woman because she'd amen me when other people wouldn't. And you can see that would be hard. Because I don't usually give the abridged version when I talk at church. It's pretty straight. That's what people are mostly afraid of. I remember playing volleyball. She always provided entertainment for it. She went up for a ball and came down on her pear-shapedness. Jerry, she's wonderful. Now, she was my #1 critic, too. So I had to be honest, when she passed off the scene, I could breathe a little easier, but I missed her support. But she was pretty much on me all the time. Well, not on me. #3. This is not good. I'm glad I'm getting out of here soon. Nobody's recording this, I hope. This is the end of my ministerial career. I'll become a country song singer or something. She was at the soccer game, and you know those collapsible chairs, the ones you carry in on your back. Sister Jerry went down in her chair. She sat in her chair. It loved her a lot. The more she sat in it, let's say it this way, she got to looking like a taco. She folded. Now if you picture Jerry Pear in this special chair, I guess it created quite a scene at the sidelines of the soccer game. As the family, some people help pull this way, some people help pull this way to get Sister Jerry out of her chair. Thank you, Jerry, for that memory. Oh, I love Jerry. But it gets better. It gets better with Sister Jerry. I have to get some extra spit for this one. I shouldn't have said spit, sorry. That's not very couth. But I did wipe my mouth with a hanky. One spring morning, the kind of morning that you're glad that you're alive. You know, the flowers, the blue sky, just a nice morning. Sister Jerry came up the walk from her car. She walked up the parking lot, in the walk, and into church. As she stepped through the door of the church, she dropped her car keys. And they fell, and she said, "Oh, I'm getting so doppy." And I reached down and picked them up. And I had these words. I said, "Jerry, if that's the worst thing that happens to you today, you don't have any problems." Little did I realize what was coming. I shook hands with Jerry, greeted her in the very spiritual way. Goodness, Lord bless you today. Great to have you in the house of the Lord. You know, all the stuff that pastors do that mostly should do. Everybody that comes in my church, I shake their hand. I've been doing it for years. Every Sunday morning, everybody that comes, I shake their hand. I try to, unless they try to avoid me, which that happens sometimes. Oh, I wonder why. As Jerry went by me and she went up to the third seat in the front, people were already in the sanctuary. I looked up at Sister Jerry. I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak because Sister Jerry, one of my saints of the Lord, who amen me when I preach, her dress was tucked in her pantyhose the whole way around the back. It was in. It was seriously in. I didn't gaze too long, lest, the biblical stuff, I didn't know it wasn't a temptation, but it was just like, whoa! I couldn't even talk. I pointed at her, I said, my wife, she went running up there fast. She got behind Sister Jerry. It took her a while, too. Sister Jerry's... Oh my. Her husband called me up in the afternoon. He said, Pastor, he said, did you get a picture? No! Pastors don't take pictures like that of their parishioners. You don't do that. That's trouble. And then he said, Pastor, he said, did you get a picture? Because he said, it's a big one, isn't it, Pastor? Jerry. Oh, Jerry. Oh, my. God bless her. She's the same lady that years ago, she went to the roller rink. She had a sense of urgency. She rolled into the restroom. She went to be about, not her father's business, but her business. And as she went to be about her business, her wheels went. She rolled out the stall, out the door, and went down on the floor. And there she was. Oh, Sister Jerry. I mean, when you have interesting people coming to your church, who needs other entertainment? Oh, my. So many things happen. How long am I going to hear? Because I'm getting to the end. Oh, my. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done here. We all have... I better quit. Stories abound. We all have them. And right now you're writing your story. You're writing a story. I think you were writing a story here this morning with the fire drill. I don't know what I felt like if I was there. I don't come to pajama parties. But some of the keys to life, listen, there's a lot of times I would have cracked up. I'd have lost my mind if I couldn't have laughed.
That's right.
Honestly, I would have. Sometimes I've had, I've been on the outside I've been called to the hospital and somebody just took their own life and the family's all in that room. And I got to go in there. I've been there when things were very bad. Desperate. All the equipment, all the machinery, all the stuff, Pastor, this is supposed to be fun tonight. But sometimes it's it's the living and the loving and the laughter that keeps you going.
That's right.
Sometimes it just breaks the stress and you can say, and I'm sure Jerry wouldn't care, she told stories, her husband told stories on there that people liked the stories. But you know what? Somewhere between diapers and depends, between being touched by an angel and dealing with the devil, dirt, details, and depression and difficulty, the bottom line is that we really need to know that God loves us. And all we want is someone to love us. Really, I found out that most people, the only thing they really want to know is that somebody loves them. That man of yours, that he won't put the little strip up in the little bathroom. He hasn't done that. And he makes some funny noises with his mouth when he eats. And he will not trim the hairs coming out of his nose. Maybe he just needs a little love. Maybe he'd respond. Maybe if you just, turned on some of that charm. Maybe this is what he needs.
Hug me, squeeze me, love me,
Yeah, that's what we need. I like it.
squeeze me, love me.
And you know, a lot of us, that's what we do need. And I want to tell you this much. You don't know what you have, as some of you can testify as I look around this room, till it's taken away. And many of you, it was taken away, and you miss it. You miss the old guy. Ear, hair, and everything. You miss him. You miss him. But isn't it great to be alive? Isn't it great to have fun and love God? Well, I'm done. Thank you. I hope I didn't cross too many lines here tonight. I think I crossed some. I feel a little funny about it. But it's done, and I'm done. Thank you.